Hi, welcome to Fitness and Harmonies. Today we're going to do some Pilates and yoga for self-study. So let's study this. Let's come to a seated pose and then inhale and stretch the arms up. And then exhale, let the arms down. Do those a few times. So study now what's happening in your lungs, your ribs, and your back. Inhale, how do you breathe? How do you breathe is the answer to the question, how am I today? So we're inhaling and stretching up and exhaling and scooping in. So the very first Pilates principle that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to talk about a lot today, is control. Two more times, self-study. So control means you have to look at what you are doing and then decide something about it. This time, leave the arms up and then extend back. So thumbs pointing to the back, inhale up, exhale over to one side. Inhale up, exhale over to the other side. Inhale up, turn or twist to one side. Bring the arms down. Now, as you inhale, extend the spine, like heart moving forward and low back hollowing out. And then as you exhale, gently roll around the spine. So try that a few times. Inhale to extend, exhale to roll. So let's get here, right? Inhale and exhale, how do you breathe? I really try to go through over the same principles over and over again so that they become a habit or a pattern. So if you've been with me 20 years, I've been teaching, a little bit over 20 years now, you probably know what I'm saying and what I'm about to do and what I'm going to remind you of. Two more times. Inhale for the extension, exhale for the contraction. Last time. Now, straighten the spine. Walk your hands a little bit out and off to one side. See if you can lean your body to one side. Maybe the answer is yes. Maybe the answer is no. Maybe you're still up here enjoying a nice twist. Good. So let's take some slower breaths now. So rhythmically inhale and exhale. Today we're doing Pilates for self-study. So let's slow down now. Self-study means to question your actions, to question how everything is working. So it would be a lot like saying to yourself, how are you? And answering honestly, truthfully. 2 slow breaths. We're just leaning in a side twist and then crawl back up. So to be safe when we're moving our spine around, first and foremost, abdominal muscles. But secondly, always think about getting the spine straight. Try to move when the spine is straight. So in Pilates, we're purposely moving. Let's inhale up. We're going to start over again. Exhale down. How are you doing? Well, inhaling, I'm exhaling. And then how am I coordinating those actions? How are my lungs doing? How are my ribs doing? Maybe most importantly, how are my abdominals doing? So the breath and the abdominals, they're almost one and the same thing. They work together so closely. And how the breath and the lungs and the abdominals are doing really dictates how good the spine is doing. This time, leave the arms up. Thumbs to the back, extend back. Hold that. So master the geometry of the exercises or poses. So if I say, thumbs to the back, master the how the joints all have to coordinate to do that. Come up, turn in the opposite direction, just let the arms down. So for 2 or 3 breaths, straight spine. So what I've been saying is when in doubt, keep your spine straight. Let's slow down the breath. Now, inhale, kind of push the hands down and extend the spine a little. Exhale and round. I'm over twisted here. I'm going to untwist this side. Inhale, extend a little. Now, if you're not getting any movement in the spine, that's okay. That's just what goes in your little notebook. So you're doing a self-study. You sit there with your little notebook and you write down in your mind, right? What am I feeling? And so your goal today is to adapt to what you find in the relationship between the joints and the muscles. Really easy to tell, right? Oh, I feel that shoulder, I feel that neck, I feel that hip. We almost always talk about our joints. One more time. Then come to a straight spine. See if you can walk your hands out off to the side a little. To me, this answer is no on this side. So that was illuminating for me. For you, this side, you might just like go all the way out and down and you just lay it all the way straight down. But for me, this is telling me there's more over here where it's trying to stretch. There's a holding there. So we deconstruct and we master the geometry. So the geometry here is mostly a straight spine. And that pulls. It pulls on muscles and tendons, which ultimately contribute to the health, the wealth, and the well-being of the joint. So notice how this slow breath feels. When we're working in Pilates, what we're noticing is how the movement feels. And then we correct the movement. So that's the master of the geometry. But I like integrating a lot of what we call yoga, the union of the mind, the breath, and the meaning behind movement. You could think of that as the spiritus. Push off. Remember, if you can, keep the spine straight. Maybe you can't. Let's grab the dumbbells. So let's see if you have. Do you have something like this, dumbbells, that you can kind of just take in your two hands? If you don't, that's okay. Just pretend. These are only 2, 3, 4 pound. Around Pilates, we generally are in that range. Let's rotate the arm bones out and crisscross in. All right, so your goal now is to make your torso long. Here's something you may or may not know. You do know. Some people have really long torsos and some people have really short torsos. Some people have really long legs, some people short. So we're not all the same proportions. So this may feel like, I don't have much room here, or it may feel perfectly natural to stay in this pose. You may have to kick one or both legs out to feel like you can sit up tall. You may have to sit up on a block or even a chair, and that's always okay. Now become aware of the shoulder blades. I like to think of them as sails on a sailboat, how they twist and twist. So as your arm is twisting, these two sailboats on the back are twisting, sails. Now begin to integrate the breath to the movement of the abdominals. One of the first things I said to you was that the health of the breath with the abdominals is really going to guide the health of the spine. 3, keep mastering the geometry and then hold the arms back. From here, see if you can twist the arms forward and back. Twist and twist. Okay, maybe you picked up 10-pound dumbbells and you're saying, I don't think this is going to work for me today. Okay. So the first thing you do when something's not working is you stop doing it. The second thing you do is try it a little bit. So maybe I do 50 of these. I don't think so. Maybe you do 10. Maybe you do 3. Inhale, exhale. The goal for today is self-study to master more engagement. All right, leave the palms up. Try this. Stretch the arms out. Pull the elbows behind you. Stretch the arms out. Pull the elbows behind you. We're going to hold on to these weights as long as we can today. So I'm going to give you the option, as always, to find patience and freedom to let yourself go. And by that, I mean, let yourself go where you need to go. Don't always follow the river or the path or the channel that was already set up for you. Maybe it's time for you to blaze a new path. As you exhale, find more engagement with the lower abdominals. 3, 2, lower abdominals, and 1. Let's bring the weights together in front of the chest. We're going to bring the feet to the floor. So this is where I turn. Bring the feet to the floor. How are we doing? We're doing good? Yes. Lean back. Scoop the belly. You do that by rocking the pelvis back and pulling the navel to the spine. And then roll up. Lean back, scoop the belly, roll up. So the scooping action, this is a really basic Pilates movement. And it's about getting as much contraction in all of the front muscles as possible. And filling the back with the air of the breath. Now try to do this without collapsing your shoulders too much. It's okay if your shoulders go forward, as long as you remember to always set them back. Inhale back, scoop, exhale, roll forward. Inhale back, chest broad, scoop, exhale forward. 2 more. Last one. All right, hold back with a straight spine. Try lifting both legs. All right, so maybe you have to put the weights down. Maybe you have to put your hands down. Maybe you have to put the legs down. You decide, right? Anything you want to put on top of this exercise. And then try tapping the toes down and down. All right, the overall goal today is control. So master the geometry. You can see the geometry here, right? The upper body is trying to balance, ultimately so that we can feel the movement with discipline and control for flexibility and balance. So you can tell we're balancing on those hips now. We're balancing the weight of the upper body with the lower body, and we're feeling the movement going through, in this case, the lower abdominals and the iliopsoas muscle. 3, 2, and 1. Let's roll all the way down to the back. I'm going to say let's hold on to those weights. Bring the arms straight up. And then bend one elbow. Then bend the other. Okay, straight up is really important, that the elbow is supported by the shoulder and the shoulders tacked down into the floor. All right, now exhale and contract the abdominals. Exhale, contract the abdominals. Even if you can't coordinate the inhale, exhale, and the movement of arms and legs, do control the core. So ignore everything else if you have to, control the core. So when we connect the mind to the muscle, it protects the joint. And that's the most important thing. Like I said, when you start talking to yourself and to your friends about what's going on in your body, you almost always direct your storyline to a joint that's become, wayward. 3. All right, so both arms up. Remember that. Hopefully that wasn't too difficult for you. Lift the knees up. Now, as one arm bends, you remember that business, the other leg taps down, and then they both come back up. As one arm bends, the other leg taps down, and they both come back up. So elbow with one leg dropping, yes. The other elbow, the other leg dropping. Exhale as you scoop the belly. Remember, the overarching goal of Pilates is always self-control. Well, I failed right there. I have 0 self-control. I'm always in trouble for breaking some rule. But do control the body so that it supports the joints. 650. There's a number for you. There's about 650 muscles. A lot of muscles. I could ask you right now what every single one of them is doing. That would be a long story, right? About 360 joints. So if I did my math right, there's about 2 muscles per joint. That better be, right? What's the point of having a joint if there's no muscle that's doing anything with it? And so if one muscle's contracting, the one on the opposite side of the joint better be lengthening. So that's a lot to think about. 3, 2, and 1. Let's bring the weights together into the chest, stretch the legs out, spin the legs open, and just point and flex at the feet. Gain a little bit more control, a little bit more self-study here. Low back is being held sort of close to the floor. After 3, now squeeze the waist, flex the feet back, drop the legs down 6 inches, point the toes, lift the legs up. Inhale the legs down with flex feet. Exhale the legs up with pointed feet. Inhale, float down, point. Exhale, squeeze up. Inhale down. Exhale up. All right, I'm going to add on. So for those of you who are picking and choosing, I'll have, just plain vanilla Pilates today. Stay here. This is already pretty complicated. For the rest of us, take the arms up. When the legs go down, bring the arms up overhead. When the legs come up, let's see if I can even do this. The arms come up. Flex, arms overhead, legs down. Point, arms drag, legs up. Flex, arms overhead, legs down. Exhale, point the toes, arms up. Inhale, stretch out. Exhale, lift up. All right, it may be too much to ask, but one thing I want you to do is to breathe. But another thing I want you to do is really control the inner thigh muscles. 3, 2, and 1. Let's put everything down and take a stretch. One knee to the chest. Take a deep breath that reaches all the tissues of the body. Part of discipline is the discipline of the mind arriving in a place of your choice. I can't discipline the world, so I have to learn to stop trying. But I can discipline me, my mind, to not go down every valley, every dead end, have to look around every corner. So right now, discipline the mind to engage with a place of your choice. So I'm going to choose like a beautiful, peaceful, relaxing, gorgeous, maybe a flower-filled meadow. Maybe it's autumn. One more slow breath. Take this knee that you're holding, use your opposite hand to push it across the body. Resume that slow, steady, present breath. The word now has incredible power. I was somewhere and I could overhear, a mother yell, now, to a child, you're a mother, you yell that a lot. And I thought, now, that's a specific time. Now, we're doing this now. Now, one more breath. And then we'll go to the other leg. So I don't typically say now. What I say is I invite you when you're ready. I don't know if you noticed that, but that's a very important distinction because you have to decide when now is. Now is now, but what's your action now? So I invite you to breathe and discipline your mind back to, I'm going to call it the pretty peaceful, relaxing space. So slowly move yourself, your mind, into the details. If you create this space, you can plan and direct your mind's movement there. After a breath, I invite you to draw this leg across the body, pushing it with the opposite arm. Notice how that feels. Those two things. You were just in this pretty place. Maybe you came out to make that movement, but notice the movement. Where do you feel it? self-study. Remember, getting out our little notebook and making little notes. How does this feel? How does the breath feel? How does movement feel? How do those 650 muscles feel? Stay with this practice. Now, 2 more breaths. Come back when you're ready to center. Hug the knees to the chest. Let's do one more while we're here. Let's just say grab one weight. So one hand, one weight. Take the legs up, twist them out, open them up. There we go. So feet kind of wide. The feet are flexed and the inner thighs are strong. This other hand behind your head, I always want the head supported. I know that's not usually part of it, but I always want the head supported. So we're going to squeeze, kind of reach, and then pull the elbow and the head and the chest back down. We're going to lift up, like kind of punch through and come down. Exhale, squeeze, lift up, punch through, inhale, down. Exhale, squeeze, lift up. Now your hand that's holding your head, I want you to pay a little bit more attention there. Actually hold it. So imagine a bowling ball. Have you ever held a bowling ball? They're, 9 to 12 pounds in that area. And so is our head. So it would be hard to hold a bowling ball with one hand, right? Or at least you would be sure. So do that. Make sure that the weight of your head is actually sort of pressing into that hand. I always want to protect the neck. 3 more times. It's like always job 1. Job 2 was always protect the spine, which is the whole point of what we're doing. Come up and hold this time. Come up and hold. Now little squeezies. Now the squeeze isn't just lifting your chest up. The squeeze is pushing the button of the belly. The button of the belly down. So like depress, 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 depress the button of the belly down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Where does she get off doing 10 of those? Everyone knows the right number is around 3 or 4. Switch hands. Hand, head, right? Legs go into the same position. It wouldn't be fair to add too much more. Here we go. Inhale. As you exhale, curl up, punch through. Inhale, pull back down. Exhale, curl up, punch through. You got it. So we're coordinating and controlling so that the joint becomes flexible. We are trying to learn how to move the spine and hold the spine so that it becomes flexible and balanced. Balance is the key to train muscles, to balance the forces. How many muscles are around a joint? Well, I don't know. There could be a lot, but there's always at least 2. Remember, some muscles span many joints, so it's not that simple. Exhale. How are you doing? Feel like you are supporting your spine over and over and over. 3. Notice the movement as you're doing it. So don't just kind of don't count. That's why I don't typically count, because I don't care how many you're doing. Come up and hold. What I care is that you're giving a lot of effort into this. Remember, head is holding. Now here's where we squeeze the button of the belly down, down. Make sure your belly's going down, down. I don't care what your head's doing as long as it's supported. I just care that your belly's going down. I'm going to count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, they're doing it. 8, 9, and 10. I don't mean to brag, but I can count to 10. That's really one of my many talents. Let's make our way over into child's pose. So rock and roll around here. Child's pose, arms stretch forward, hips up and back. Or down and back. After about 4 breaths, we're going to go through a little yoga flow. You know it, mostly a sun salutation. The option is to go halfway through it just do the down parts or just the up parts. We're going to just do sort of a modified version. Inhale, exhale up to cat pose, round the back. Inhale, turn the toes over. Exhale, up and back to downward dog pose. So lift your hips, glide back. Inhale. Exhale, walk your feet all the way forward. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Bend your knees, bring your hands to your knees. Lift your chest up halfway. Shine a light from your chest forward. Inhale. Exhale, push all the way up. Inhale, circle the arms up overhead. Exhale, extend back. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. I'm just kind of giving you a preview. Do that at the right tempo. Inhale, come up. Exhale, lean right. Inhale, come up. Exhale, lean left. Inhale, come up. Dive to forward fold. Inhale, step back to a plank pose. So walk both feet back. Drop one knee down. Turn your hips, turn this foot, and then stretch this opposite arm up. Let's do 3 breaths here. This is one of the operative poses here we're going to land on when we're done. One more breath. Keep generating energy. And then bring the hand down. Come back up to downward dog. So lift both hips. Then come all the way down to child's pose. Let's see if we can try that again. 3 breaths. Inhale, exhale. We're getting ready to go through, we'll call it like a sun salutation. One more breath. Here we go. Inhale, come up into cat pose. That's an arched spine. Inhale, release. Exhale into downward dog pose. That's the hips rise up and float back. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, walk forward. I like to hold the forward fold for 2 breaths so that my head gets used to this. Bend your knees, walk your hands up to them. Inhale, stretch the chest forward. Exhale, rise all the way up. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, extend back. Inhale, inhale, two breaths is what I mean to say there. Inhale up. Lean to one side. Inhale up. Lean to the other side. Remember, modify, modify, modify. Inhale up. Forward fold. Modify means maybe you never even came up. Walk back to plank pose. So anytime you have to control joints and make them move, make sure your mind is minding that movement. Take the other knee now forward. Twist. Your hips come to the side of that foot. Reach this free arm up. This is the operative pose. This is the one we're going to come back to when we're done with this. 2 more breaths. Keep scooping and generating the lower abdominals. Don't let your arms and legs do all the work here. 1 more breath. And come back. Hand to the floor. Step back to downward dog. So both feet. Inhale, exhale. Come all the way down to child's pose. Let's try this again. So there's like a right and a left, and then we kind of hang out. Inhale, exhale. 1 more time. Ready? Inhale, exhale. This time we move. Inhale, exhale up to cat. Inhale, exhale, release. Turn the toes. Exhale the downward dog. Take your time, go at your pace. Exhale, walk forward. 2 breaths. I like 2 breaths here to give the body a moment, the head and the blood. Bend the knees, walk the hands to them. Inhale, stretch the chest forward. Exhale, rise all the way up, scooping the belly. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, extend up and back. You're doing so good. Inhale, come up. Exhale, lean one side. Inhale, come up. Exhale, lean the other side. Inhale, come up. Forward fold. Step back into a plank pose, hands and toes. You know that some of the modifications are going back to the first knee. So the first knee comes down. Twist the body into like a side plank. Stretch this top arm up in an infinitely long line. Another breath here. Inhale, exhale. Good. Come back down and into downward dog. Another breath here. Inhale, exhale. Then come all the way down to child's pose. Okay, 3 breaths. We're almost done with this vinyasa. 2. Here we go. Ready? Inhale. Exhale up to cat pose. Take your time. Exhale to a flat spine. Keep bracing the abdominals. Prepare. Exhale to downward dog. Inhale. Exhale, tiptoe forward. I like to hang out in forward fold. To explore, to control. Now bend the knees. Walk your hands to them. Inhale, stretch the chest forward. Exhale, rise all the way up. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, extend back. Inhale, come up. Lean side. Float as you inhale up. Exhale as you lean side. Inhale up. Forward fold, engage the muscles. Plank pose, hands and toes. Engage the shoulder blades. So the more you engage, the better. Drop the other knee now. Twist to the other side. So both legs and hips turn. Outstretch the arms, wall to wall, ceiling to floor. I want to hold this one another 2 breaths. Keep embracing the lower abs. Remember, they're directing the forces. And then bring the hand down. All right, downward dog. All right, we're going to do it again, but this time slower. So stay in downward dog. Seek the nuances. And then come all the way down to child's pose. This time in child's pose, bring your hands back next to your feet so that your forehead, or the top of your forehead, rests on the floor. Give those upper back, neck, shoulder muscles. Well, let's give it a minute to recover from all of that. Soften. Three. Oh, here we go. 1. Walk your hands forward. Come up into cat pose. Press down and inflate the back. And then release. Move through downward dog. So this is a transition. Downward dog. And then walk forward. Now, as you're hanging out in this forward fold, gather your dumbbell. Just make sure it's close to the edge of the mat there. Bend your knees, bring your hands to them. Come all the way up. Same thing as before. Nothing too new here. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, extend back. Inhale, come up. This time, lean to one side, grab a wrist and pull. Grab a wrist and pull. Another breath here, and then inhale up. Go the other way. So grab a wrist. It actually doesn't matter which one you're grabbing. Both will give you a pretty decent effect. And I want you to notice that effect because we're about to work the arms again. Inhale up, release the arms, forward fold down, step back to plank pose. And then ask to see if you can stay in plank pose for a moment. Can you grab a weight? Bring it over to the other side of the mat, come back to plank. Grab that very weight in the other hand, cross it over. Try that a few times. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Maybe you've come down to the knees. That's another option. Maybe you're even walking down to the elbows. That's still an option. Try that. Try this on the elbows. See how this does. Talk about nonsense, right? Why are we moving this weight left to right? All right. Lower one knee down. You'll remember this. Come to the side. Remember this? Grab the weight in the hand that's now on top and rotate the weight. Or the arm, I guess. All right, so hips have to be square to this, broad wall, I guess. Squeeze the abdominals. Practice now, if you can, balancing by lifting this other leg. Whoa, what else is she going to throw at us today? I have a million of them. Over the years, have gathered every exercise, every possibility. After 2 and 1. Let's take this arm. If your arm goes there, stretch it up next to the side of the head. Maybe that's a challenge for you. Then from here, let's kind of seesaw. Come up and down and up. You get it, right? Seesaw, right? And down. So the body's staying kind of straight, up and down. This is really, really a balance challenge. So I'm going to make this the granddaddy of our exercise here. 3. And so next week and next time, you're going to say, hey, do that seesaw that you just invented right here on the spot. I did. 3, 2. All right, I'm going to ask you to just go to the other side. We're not going to go through the whole flow. So that is one knee, the other leg out, and onto the kind of the side. Remember this? Elbow in close, rotate. Rotate. Yes. In yoga, as in Pilates, there's no such thing as isolation. So in that vein, after 3, lift that leg. Yes, getting used to that. And when you're ready, if you want, shoot the arm up overhead. Another option is to leave the arm down. Here we go. We're going to come up and down. Kind of like you're springing off, coming up, and springing back down. Nothing's happening in isolation in the real world. People don't say, oh, hold on, let me move one leg, then I'll think about what I'm going to do with the other one. That you just don't get that kind of time. After 3, we're having a blast today. 2 and 1. All right, I invite you to come all the way to the back. And when you get there, cross the ankle over the knee. Pull the legs in towards the chest. Give those legs a circle around and the other way. And then switch legs. Ankle over knee, hug the legs into the chest. Give the leg a circle around. And then the other way. And then move into Shavasana. When you're ready, come all the way down. Softly release all those muscles, all those joints. Take a deep breath in, and on this exhale, lower down. Inhale, but when you exhale, gather. Gather your mind, your body, your control. When you exhale, gather. As if everything, everywhere, every thought and feeling is coming together in a meaningful moment. You are having a human experience, and that has meaning. You're about to roll to your side, but before you do, watch the series of thoughts, actions, and reactions that get you from the pose you're in to coming all the way up. So whenever you're ready, slowly and in your own moment, begin to come all the way back up. Good. When you're all the way back up and into an easy pose, inhale up and then exhale all the way down. I hope you feel a lot better. Thank you, guys. Good work today.